Gentlemen, welcome back to the Tiege Hanley Starting a Business, Building a Brand vlog. This one, big number 241. So today we're going to talk a little bit about investing. And we're also going to take a little field trip to an investment that I am making in that old church. Some of you probably saw the video that I did a few months ago. Well, that video that I did talking about, we got shut down. I took that video down because I got so many people sending me emails, and it was definitely not something that I probably should have done. But because this is a business vlog, I thought it would be appropriate to talk a little bit about real estate investing, or I should say how I spend some of my profits and how I invest as an entrepreneur. So just to start here, we're at my office, right? This building here, right there, that's my office. This was my first real estate purchase, probably about like 5 years ago. I was looking for an opportunity to expand Pete and Pedro, and I wanted to basically grow it outside of the small little bedroom that I was in. And so I found this. I was like, okay, I love it. I fell in love. The old building, the high ceilings. I've done a video about this. And so I bought this, right? Amazing. I love it. It's incredible. But then right next door, there's another building, right? Or a connected building. That was actually bank owned. The guy who originally had this property had some issues. And so that property there was bank owned. It's 4,000 square feet. My office is like 1,800 square feet. And so that was an incredible value. And so I ended up buying that asset as well. And what happened was I went in, I spent a little bit of money, about $30,000, fixed it up a bit. And now I rent it out to a wealth management company. Is this interesting to you? Do you like this? If so, drop us one of these to be like, yo, this is pretty cool, a little different, little field trip. You want more of this? Anyway, we're gonna go now to the old church that I purchased, and we're gonna check on the progress they've made a little bit. After we go to the church, we're gonna come back to the office, sit down, and actually talk a little bit about investing. Hopefully you guys enjoy this, and if not, there's always next week. So the first piece of real estate investment advice I would like to give you is don't ever buy a historic building that is dilapidated. You know, going into it, going into this renovation, I knew that it was going to be a challenge. I knew that it was going to be expensive, and I was fairly prepared for it. I was not prepared, however, for all of the neat little things that we found as we've gone through the renovation process, one of which was the floor. I didn't realize, the inspector didn't catch the fact that all of the floor joists were rotten. And so it's been, that was just one thing. I mean, there was lead that I kind of knew about that we had to sort of strip off the walls. We've exposed the brick. We're getting ready to paint the brick. Recently, we also had steel, a mezzanine in the back sort of constructed, and that was pretty cool. But there have been all sorts of hiccups and just things that we never really sort of anticipated in this renovation. We've got the windows that are coming, I think, tomorrow, which are these big black and steel and glass, amazing windows. The place is going to look incredible when it's finished. It's just getting it to that point has been not easy. It's also been more expensive than I thought. And so that is just something to sort of think about. And Kelly. Yo, Kelly, you're on speaker, you're on the vlog. I am taking the gentleman to the church. We're gonna do a little investing, little real estate vlog today.
Sounds wonderful. I'm glad I can be part of the journey.
Yeah, well, here's the deal. You didn't call me back quick enough for me to do the Tiege update. So guys, just to let you know, we do have some big Tiege updates, but there's a lot of sort of nuance to it, and we're not we got to make sure that we're ready to sort of talk about it publicly. Isn't that right, Kelly?
That's right, but some of the biggest, best stuff that's happened in a long time. Yeah,
we got some really exciting things, some people that are potentially joining the team. We've got some other really game-changing stuff. Wouldn't you agree?
I love it. And I just had we had a Black Friday Cyber Monday meeting, marketing meeting this morning. I just talked to Dave. He's got so much. Dave in operations, he's got so many new products coming out of our product development, and I expect a lot of them to be be ready, and we're gonna have some exciting stuff going on for Black Friday, Cyber Monday with some of these new products. So it's gonna be awesome.
Lots of exciting things happening. Gonna update you hopefully next week. I know I keep teasing about that, but there's a lot of stuff that we needed to make sure that we had all of our ducks in a row and everything like dotted and crossed before we actually talk about it, because once you put it out there, it's public. There you can see they removed the old windows. The new super sexy expensive windows are going in tomorrow. But inside, a few things have changed since last time you might have been here. The floor is finished and there's some steel. So come on, let's go in. What's up, man? I'm good, how are you? Looks good. All right, guys, so as you can see, some stuff is starting to happen in the old church. The masons are here. There was a ton of brickwork to be done. They had to rebuild like all of the big like arches along with that one. That's gonna be like a gigantic mirror, or not mirror, window. And then if you can see back here, all that steel. All right, that steel is where the mezzanine is going to be. All right, there's going to be a stairway on that side. It's going to go up, and that's going to all be open up there. There are going to be people like up there. There's like a little sitting area. And then underneath here, this is where all like the rooms and the offices and things of that nature are going to be. The other thing that's happened recently is I bought all of the furniture that's going to be going in here. I hired my designer, this woman Minuet that I've known for a long time, who is just absolutely amazing. She was on like Design Stars and all sorts of stuff. And she helped me with my house. And the whole reason why you would want to actually hire somebody like her or a designer to help is that you might have good taste, but she's going to take it to that like next level. And that's really what I'm looking for. And so her coming in with her team and just basically like being like, yo, this is what we could do. Do you like this? Do you like that? And she has resources that I didn't have. In terms of picking some of the furniture and the lighting and everything. Like, this place is going to be absolutely spectacular. What do you think? So what we're doing now is we are priming the walls with like a sealer. Because this is old brick and it is like super like crazy soft. Like, look at this, right? I mean, it's just super soft. They're actually putting a sealer on this before we actually paint it. We are going to be painting the entire space white, and then the flooring is going to be sort of like a distressed wood to make it kind of feel and look a little bit like an old church. And then the other sort of like accent walls and everything back here, they're going to be like a black. Yeah, so things are moving, right? I'm just going to tip around right there, right? Up there, there. The ceiling. The ceiling, that's what I kind of fell in love with when we walked in, right? Not only is this an incredible space, but that ceiling is original from like 1845. We've got to fix it, but we're going to leave it as like natural as possible, just to give it that like sort of old world, like classy, you know, church vibe. And we're going to have like a really like gorgeous, like huge like chandelier that's like brass and sexy, that's going to be hanging from the center. It's really going to be like a showstopper when you walk in. Let's see, what else? Everything else is kind of what it is. Let's go back to the office and talk a little bit about investing. See you guys. And we're back. All right, so now what I thought we would do a little bit is talk a little bit about investing. Now, please be aware that there is nothing I say that should be taken as like fact, right? This is something that you totally need to figure out for yourself. I am just going to share with you, you know, sort of a little bit of my philosophy behind investing a little bit, occasionally. All right, so the first thing that you need to do as an entrepreneur, in my opinion, when it comes to investing extra cash, is invest back into your business, right? It just makes sense, right? If you can pour a little more gas on the fire in order to help that business grow, it's going to generate more revenue. And so the first place that I invest my money is back into my businesses, right? Tiege Hanley, we invest it back. Pete and Pedro, we invest it back. Enemy, back into, right? New inventory, new styles, right? You want to take any opportunity you can to take your extra cash and put it back into your business and company, whether or not that's hire new employees, new technology, more inventory, or just keep cash for like the cash flow thing, because that is one of the hardest things to manage when you are an entrepreneur is cash flow, because you're going to have all that inventory sitting on the shelf like we've talked about before. And until that inventory moves through, you still have expenses that you got to handle. And if you're not selling it, you still got to pay. And so cash flow is a thing. And so for me, that is the first place that I will spend money, is invest it back into my business. Now, the second place that I like to invest personally is real estate. That is where I started to invest sort of like first. So for me, I love real estate. I do not do the sort of like buy a home, flip a house, or buy a home and rent it out. I don't do that. There are a lot of people that do. And one of the upsides to buying like a small little house, fixing it up a little bit, and then renting it out is that the barrier to entry is fairly low. Lower than buying like commercial properties, right? Commercial real estate typically is going to be a little bit more expensive. And the client or the tenant that's going to lease out a commercial building, it's more specific. There are less of them. But when it comes to like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, small little house that's going to be like, $2,000 a month to rent, like the market there is huge. And so there are a lot more potential clients, and it's an easier way to sort of get into it. The down payment on, say, a $200,000 house, even if it's a rental property, is probably going to be, it depends on your credit. It depends on a lot of different factors. But I mean, it might be, $20,000 or $40,000. But a commercial space that might be $500,000, you still need that down payment. And if you're going to be getting a commercial loan, the down payments are going to be higher. They expect you to have more skin in the game, because for a bank, it's more risky to loan you money on a commercial space, apparently. And this is all stuff that I've sort of learned over the years. The first building that I bought is my office that I'm in now. And this was such an emotionally amazing thing for me. I saw this building for a long time. One day I was like, I'm gonna have something in there. I love this building. And so when I saw that there was a for sale sign on this unit, I came in it, and it was like, let's make it happen, whatever I need to do. Like we talked about with my accountant, Keith, people didn't want to loan me money because I didn't have credit, right? I had really not bad credit, but I had gone through a bankruptcy, 12 years, or I guess now it's been like 12 years ago, and I didn't get a lot of credit cards. I was scared of debt. I still am scared of debt. And so I didn't ever build up my credit. And so when I went to these banks, I'm like, this is the building, this is what I want. And they're like, let me see your tax return. What are you doing? And I wasn't taking a paycheck. There are all sorts of things working against me in terms of acquiring this first building. But when I finally found somebody, it was a referral from my accountant that basically vouched for me from a small community bank as opposed to like a big bank, because it's easier to develop a relationship and to get a loan from a smaller bank. He basically vouched for me and was like, yeah, I do his taxes. The guy's got a little bit of money. He does have consistent income. It is a worthy investment. And so I got a loan. It was a 5-year loan. And at the end of the 5 years, the loan like converted. Like you had to pay it back, or you needed to refinance it. And that's one of the downsides to commercial spaces. It's not like you get a 30-year mortgage like you do on a home, all right? It is much shorter. And so, my goal right away, once I sort of got in here and I put my down payment down, I was looking at my bill every month, and I saw like all of this interest that I was paying. And it was like, I don't know, I guess it was probably like $1,500 a month. I'm like, $1,500 a month, I need to pay this down. And so I worked all my extra money. I was like paying down my debt. I was paying down my debt, paying down my debt, until I was debt free. Now, a lot of real estate investors will tell you not to do that, right? You should take your money, you can buy another asset, and then leverage that. And but for me, I slept better. But what happened as a result of me being able to, over the course of like a few years, pay down this debt or pay it off, it then allowed my banker to be like, yo, if you want something else, like just let us know, we'll do it again. And that's how I ended up getting that other bank-owned property. It was because I had established some credit now, and that also helped raise my credit score. And so real estate for me is something that I love. I am not planning on buying any more assets. I have this, I've got the offices, I've got a few other things, but yeah, I love real estate. It makes sense to me. The downside to real estate is typically you're going to have to come up with a down payment, right? And the down payment can be expensive depending on the asset that you're buying, also depending on the mortgage that you're getting and the bank that you're actually getting the mortgage through. But there are all sorts of ways to sort of leverage different things in order to, grow your business and invest more if you find an asset. One thing that is not an upside to, the economy taking a nosedive, back when the economy tanked, back in like 2006, 7, and 8, all of these people were like super over leveraged. They were getting like these like crazy mortgages, like 100% finance and like 95% finance. And what happened is they all gave all their assets back to the bank. They're like, yo, we're walking away. Now, the upside, if you were somebody that didn't do that and you had, some money in the bank and you had, some liquidity, you were able to get an incredible deal on these bank-owned assets because they were willing to basically like just give them away. And so that is something to consider. When everything's all up and everything is going amazing, all the prices in terms of real estate start to go up, right? But when things are bad, right, they go down, of course. Which brings us to one of the downsides of real estate. Depending on when you're buying that asset, it can lose value. When everything is good, everything is going up, and you buy it, right? You're like, yeah, I got it, right? Hopefully, it keeps going up, but that is not guaranteed. And so you just got to be aware of that. The other thing you need to be aware of, and something that I was not smart enough to sort of think through ahead of time, I know now, is taxes, right? We talk a lot about taxes on this, not a lot, but we talk occasionally on this vlog about taxes. And one of the things that is super, sort of apparent is that when you buy an asset, whether or not it's commercial or a residential unit that you're renting out to somebody, you still are responsible for the taxes, obviously, the property taxes. The more real estate you own, the more taxes you have to pay. You have to pay taxes, right? Like you pay taxes on your house, right? Well, you also owe taxes on all of the assets that you may potentially buy down the road, including like rental properties and things like that. But assuming that you're actually making rent or getting rent from that tenant, you hopefully can cover the property taxes, and you probably should consider the property taxes when determining how much you're going to actually charge rent for that specific investment or that house or that building or whatever you're actually renting. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to talk a little bit about real estate as it pertains to investing. If you guys want more like investment like stuff, or at least my perspective on it, because I am in no way, shape, or form, probably qualified to even talk about this stuff. But, I can share my perspective if you guys are interested in hearing more about it. If you are, guys, down below, say, yo, Alpha, we'd like to hear more about sort of your ideas around like investing, because real estate, once again, it is a part of the bigger puzzle, because you hear about like diversification, right? It is important to diversify so that all your eggs aren't in one basket, as they say, because if you own just a bunch of real estate and it collapses, like it's not going to be a pretty sight. Not a pretty sight like a patchy beard. Speaking of beards and patchy, guys, if you are looking to learn about growing a beard for beginners, this week's original content by Tiege Hanley is all about beard growing tips for beginners. Guys, if you want to check that video out, it's going to be listed and linked down below. Now, what I would like to do is get to the few business questions from last week's vlog. The first business question comes from our friend Kader Awad. Why doesn't Pete and Pedro offer free domestic shipping for orders under $60? Because Pete and Pedro doesn't want to offer free shipping for orders under $60. Did the numbers, did the math, and that is the decision that I decided on. And I stick by it, and it's one of the better decisions that I have made for that company. Does it hurt in terms of conversions? Maybe, but it's $5, and that $5 helps. It doesn't solve like the shipping problems, right? Like we still have shipping issues. We still have, shipping is still expensive, even with that $5 fee. But it's a little something, and it helps with shipping. And so, shipping, you're going to see. If you start sending products, if you start selling things online, shipping is going to be probably your number one or number two expense. It is insane how much money you are going to spend on shipping. And so that was my way of not taking it or not eating it, 100%. And so that $5, it helps, and it helps offset the shipping cost. Now, if you order over $60, of course, it's free shipping. And that shipping, if it's over $60, typically it's going to be heavier, and that's going to be more expensive. But for me, it was just a decision that I decided to not chase that, free. It was a strategic decision, and It was a good one, to be honest. I still, Pete and Pedro still charges $5 shipping on every Amazon order too, which is crazy with Prime. Like, why would I do it? Well, yeah, exactly. Screw you, Amazon. Anyway, I'm kidding. I love Amazon. Who doesn't love Amazon? The next business question comes from, why do you post these videos on the Tiege Hanley channel? Wouldn't create a financial/advice kind of channel benefit you more in terms of views and branding, except, by the way, thanks for these videos. Yeah, if I did a separate video, like the Alpha M, you know, like videos on investing and stuff like that, it would get more views. But the reason we started this Tiege Hanley vlog was to let you in on our journey. And so this is specific to Tiege Hanley and entrepreneur. It has evolved over the years of doing it. But, you know, it's not about the views. It's about the value that we're bringing. And hopefully you guys dig these videos. And so, yeah, that's the reason. But great question. The next question comes from our friend Mohammed Abdulmohsen. I'm not even going to try your last name, brother. Do you think it's necessary for a company to keep telling us about their stance on social issues? Do customers really care whether their underwear company shares the same values as they do? Do I think it's necessary? No. And that is where we're going to wrap things up. Guys, thanks so much for hanging and rolling with us at Tiege Hanley. Here's the deal, gentlemen. Next week, oh my God, hopefully I will get the green light to divulge all of the incredibleness that is happening over there in Chicago. We are kicking some serious ass, changing some things up, shaking up the whole like ecosystem, and like there's some crazy things that we're still tweaking and testing and figuring out whether or not they were good decisions or not. But that is what you do as an entrepreneur and as a business. You test, you analyze, you test, you analyze. That's what it's all about. Gentlemen, we love you more than our double monk strap shoes. If you have a business question, down below, start it with business question and ask your question. Next week, hopefully, I'll get the green light. Hopefully, you'll also have some other business questions. This week, it was kind of slim pickings, but we did the best we could do. Guys, thank you so much for being a part of this. We love you and think that you are amazing.